Good morning, everyone. Especially to you, sir. Good morning. This is the continuation of Ms. Herrera's report. Let's move on to mannerism or late Renaissance. So, what is mannerism? Mannerism is a style that emerged in 1530 and lasted until the end of the century. It was named after maniera, an Italian term for style or manner, and refers to a stylized, exaggerated approach to painting and sculpture. In this period, paintings and sculptures have been exaggerated, unlike the early and high Renaissance. Simply, it was a style as a reaction against Renaissance obsession with proportionality and naturalism. This was a moment at the end of the Renaissance period when artists represented their emotions and imagination with visual dissonance and stability. Here, Manerists represented the emotions and imaginations with a technique of creating unexpected visual forms that caused tension to the viewers and stability. Here, the paintings here or lack of perspective and it caused confusing to the viewers and if you are not really into painting you can't really understand what their paintings really meant. This art usually included distorted and twisted figures and used unnatural colors and light sources. So here, the primary subjects, there are some parts of their body that are being elongated, some are distorted, and others are twisted figures. So one of the examples of this is the painting by Parmigianino, which is the Madonna with the long neck. This painting depicts a distorted Virgin Mary where her neck is being elongated her and her body parts is colossally oversized. On her lap is baby Jesus. Baby Jesus, his pallor and sprawling position are almost corpse-like. So as you can see, and the angels beside Mama Mary, it becomes more confusing of what this painting really meant. And it goes, what do you mean by, this painting really broke what you really expect by what you see in this painting. So that is an example of mannerism. So next is Baroque, an art period with highly ornate and embellished depictions of important events including royalty or religious stories. Baroque started in the 16th century as a response of the Catholic Church to the many criticisms that arose during the Protestant Reformation. In this art period, artists focused on important events including royalty and religious events, which were portrayed. They were portrayed with extravagance, ornateness, and decorated details. So, artists focused on using deep colors, lots of details, asymmetry, movement, drama, symbols, and high contrast of light and dark. Next is Rococo or late Baroque. The art movement within the Baroque period was even more extravagant than regular Baroque. So Baroque is being most of their paintings are being decorated, well decorated, but here in Rococo it becomes more extravagant. You see, it was more like it becomes more fanciful. You see, fanciful, it becomes more unimaginative, it becomes unrealistic. Their paintings become unrealistic. So, artists use a typical level of drama with elaborate details and focus on the lifestyle of the aristocrats. So, one of the examples in Rococo is the swing. The swing by it was by so as you can see in this painting, there is a woman on the swing. There is a young man here watching her without her knowledge. This woman was pushed by an old man. So this painting was very well decorated, very well painted. It has so many ornamental plants that being decorated around the woman, the surroundings of the woman. So it becomes more unrealistic, it becomes more unimaginable. So that is what Rococo style. So next is neoclassical. A return. We see neoclassical. Neoclassical. This is the reaction to the excesses of Baroque and Rococo. It was more like yeah. So a return. Neoclassical is a return to Greek and Roman ideas of logical and reason. It is an aesthetic attitude based on the art of Greece and Rome in antiquity, which invokes harmony, clarity, restraint, universality, and idealism. So neoclassicism was a Western cultural movement in the decorative and visual arts, literature, theater, music, and architecture that drew inspiration from the art and culture of classical antiquity. So it means that in neoclassicism, visual arts here are paintings, sculptures, and others are being drawn by. It comes from the inspiration from the art and culture of classical antiquity of Rome and Greece. So one of the examples of this is the Death of Socrates by Jacques Louis David. This painting portrayed the classical theme of the trial and execution of Socrates with an underlying message of resistance against the France and fear ruling authority during those times. These are the Socrates. These are the paintings about the Socrates who fight against the rulings of the France that who are not agreed with it. They are not the same with the rulings where they are not they do not agree with the rulings of the France, the unfair rulings of the France. So that's the story of this painting. That is what this painting means. So next is romanticism, an art period where artists honor nature, individualism, and intuition and emotion. The movement was an idyllic and dramatic reaction to the artist's dislike of neo-classical movement, the Industrial Revolution, and Age of Enlightenment. So, romantic art focuses on emotions, feelings, and moods of all kinds of including spirituality, imagination, mystery, and fervor. The subject matter varied widely, including as what they observe other nature is like for example and landscapes, and also they have religion, revolution, and peaceful beauty. So of romantic one of the examples of romantic period is that the Liberty Leading the People by Eugene Delacroix. So, in this painting, it was all about the people who want their liberty, who fight against people who. It was all about the people. It was all about people who fight and love for their country. So they don't want it was all about the people who fight against fight for their liberty, who fight for their country, who fight for the love of their country. So that is what I understand in the painting. Next is realistic or realism, an art period where artists try to represent their subjects truthfully and accurately. So, in realism, it means that artists focus on the realism present within the subject matter, as artworks began to depict ordinary and everyday scenes in a very realistic manner. Development was a reaction against Romanticism and Industrial Revolution and focused on everyday life, even the unpleasant parts of life. So, this realistic, it was all about, it's really focused on realistic situations, real life situations, even the bad ones, even the unpleasant things that happens in our lives. So this is what about realistic. One of the example of this is the painting called A Boreal at Ornans by Gustav Garbage. So, in this painting is what really happens there. It was about boreal. So, boreal, when we see a boreal, is really happened in reality. That is what a reality, because all of us died. So, even though it is an unpleasant situations that happen in our lives, still it is realistic. It's still real. So what is meant by realistic. So I think that's all, and thank you.